How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back on another video. Today I'm going to be working on the ATV, the 300 TRX. It's getting that time of year that we might have to drag some firewood in, or we may end up having to plow the driveway. Snow's coming. So what I do, I go out, get on the four-wheeler, and guess what? It ain't doing nothing. It won't start. The light don't even barely come on, real dim, so I know I got a dead battery. So I went and picked up a battery. We're going to be mounting the battery on this thing, and I'm going to do a little something else to it to ensure that my battery stays charged up. So how about we go ahead and get started on this project. Alright, this is the battery that I picked up for the four-wheeler. This is basically identically the same battery that I had in it before, and it lasted quite a few years, but not as long as I would like it to last. Of course, we all want them to last longer. So this battery here, get this thing out of the box here, maybe. Okay, I'll get this box out of the way. This battery here, it's the type of battery you got to put the acid in it. So basically you're just going to open the box up and you'll have the acid is going to be in this container here. I'm going to get rid of the paper, and then don't forget there's a little, these are your bolts right here, so you want to take that off of there and you want to keep them. These are going to be the bolts to mount it back onto the four-wheeler to give you new bolts with it. So now in this thing here, let's see here, we're gonna have to pull this tab here off, but let me look down in here and see what we got in our box. This is your manual, your owner's manual for your battery. So we're gonna pull this out. We're gonna take this paper, pull this off, okay, and then we're gonna turn the battery around here so you can see it. And these are going to be your, this is the acid. This is all the acid you're going to need to put in your battery. Now, this is something you want to be real careful because you don't want to get the acid on you. But these are actually set up pretty cool. You'll see here. They have little tabs on the top of these. You're going to be, don't discard this piece because you're going to need this piece here. This piece here is what's going to go on your battery. This piece here is going to fit right on here when we're done putting the acid on. And if you notice on the top of this, each one of these have a piece of aluminum foil on the top of them. Okay, it's like aluminum covering, and all you're going to do is let me get you off this thing real quick here. What you're going to do is you're going to take these and line them up with these holes right here. You're just going to flip this guy upside down, put it on top of there, and you're going to push down. And then all the acid is going to flow right down into the battery. You're not going to really have to do much more other than that. If you notice, these guys got kind of a little sharp edge on them. So it's going to flow right down inside there. So that's what we're going to do next. I'll put you back on tripod here. Okay, so all we're going to do now is we're just going to take our jug, stick it right on top of there, just like so. We're going to push down on it. Now you see the bubbles? All these are emptying into that battery now. I just give it a good punch on the back to make sure it goes down on. So we're just going to let that thing sit there and drain all that battery acid right down inside that battery. See the bubbles in it? Okay, now that all of our acid is in the battery, we're just going to take this off and be kind of careful you don't get any acid anywhere. And if there is, you may want to wipe it off. Make sure you wipe it off. Mine looks pretty clean right there. So now that we got the acid in there, we're going to let this battery set for about an hour. And then in an hour, we're going to throw the charger on here. I'm going to put a 2 amp charge on this for about 5 or 6 hours. I'm going to let it set with the 2 amp charge, but we're going to let it stand for at least an hour before we put it on charge. So after an hour, I'll come back and we'll put her on charge. Okay, it's been about an hour. I'm going to lay this thing on the top. I think you could go ahead and seal this down if you wanted, but I'm just going to leave mine lay a little bit loose there. And I got my old battery charger out here, and I got it set on 2 amps. 2 amp charge. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing on charge. And we're going to leave it for about, I don't know, I'm going to leave mine for about 5 or 6 hours. So I'll just let it charge up real good, and we should have a good battery here for a 4-wheeler. So I'll be able to get to this a little bit later, and we should have a good charged battery. Okay, our battery's been charging up for about 5 hours, so we're good and charged now. We're going to go ahead and unhook the battery and get it put in. Now you want to put down these, you want to push these guys down on here. You try to do them all a little bit at a time, all at the same time, the best you can, until it's nice and flush with the battery. So that looks pretty good. So now that's setting up the battery for the 4-wheeler. If you have to pick up a new battery, that's what you're going to do once you get it. That's what I do anyhow. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing mounted in the 4-wheeler. Now don't forget, they give you new bolts for this in that little pack. So you have brand new bolts to put in here. And all you got to do is on one side, it's like a square block. I'll show you this little block right here. This little block right here goes right up underneath of the battery terminal. You slide them right up underneath of it. And then you'll take your washer. I'll tell you what, we're going to do the positive one first. We're going to do our positive one first here. Going to set it up underneath there. And that should just give you enough room for your bolt to reach down there and pick that nut up. Now if it doesn't want to pick it up, you may have to lift it up just a little bit with a screwdriver just so it picks it up. Not too much to it. Then we'll go ahead and put the other one on the same way. Okay, we got the battery all mounted in there now, and this is what I picked up. I picked up one of these. It's an automatic battery float charger. So this gives it like a trickle charge, just a small 2 amp charge. This is something that I'm going to be mounting on this 4-wheeler when I'm not really using it. That way it keeps my battery maintained at a 12 volt. And these are not very expensive. I will leave a link in the description down below so you can pick these up in the battery. But these are actually really nice. I bought quite a few of these because I'm going to put one on my lawnmower, one on my 4-wheeler, and then I even thought about putting one on my camper battery. Any batteries that I'm not going to be using for a few months, something like this was actually pretty neat to be able to put on it. So you maintain that 12 volt battery charge. And they're pretty simple to use. All you got to do is take them out of the package. In this case, I would pull the seat off like I already have it off. And you have a negative and a positive terminal here. You're just going to clip them on your battery like so. and then just plug this guy in, and it's going to maintain that 12 volt for as long as it's plugged in, which is pretty cool. Hopefully this will save my battery, because normally I would only run this thing, I usually only run the four-wheeler when it's either hunting season or firewood season or snow and plowing the snow out of the driveway. So that would be about the only time we would use the four-wheeler. I really don't use it much during the summer at all. So right now we don't need this on here because we're going to be running this machine. So we're not going to actually put it in there. I'm going to put it right back in the pack, and we'll save it for when when the bike is actually in storage. So I'm just going to put this in my toolbox behind the seat here, and I'll have it when I'm ready to store the bike away. So like I said, I got quite a few of these little chargers. Alright, so the four-wheeler is good for, it should be good for a pretty long time on this battery. Hopefully it'll work out pretty good. Give it a try here. Battery's good and strong. That's the way we want to keep her. So still got a little bit of work to do to this thing. I want to get, I have a little problem with my winch. I got to get it fixed. Once I get it fixed, I'll be able to get the plow mounted on it. That way if we get any big heavy snows, I'll be able to take this thing out and plow with it. So that's setting up the battery for the four-wheeler. Pretty simple process. Get it put in there and you're good to go. And the maintainer, I think that's actually a pretty good little thing to have, the little trickle charge on there, just to maintain that 12 volt in that battery when you're not using the machine. I know when I let this thing set, I like to put a little bit of that stable in the gas, just to make sure that helps out the gas too, because there's a lot of months that this thing doesn't get used at all. So we want to try to take care of them problem areas where, like, it may not start because of the battery or the gas is getting too old in it. So I would like to tell everybody, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment if you'd like. Till next time.